Hello, thanks for joining me. I hope you're well. Now, I had a comment in the comment box, and it was pretty much slagging off our little Royal Enfield 350s, and it said, dull as dishwater, selling it. Hey, what do we think about that then? Dull as dishwater, selling it. First of all, thank you for joining me. I hope you're well. Thanks to everybody who's liking and subscribing and commenting to my little channel. I just wonder what do you think of that then? Dull as dishwater, selling it. Now, to be honest with you, it took me aback a little bit, but then I composed myself and I thought about it a little bit more, and I thought, you know, there'd be a time when I probably thought exactly the same. You know, as we always say, that it's like horses for courses, these, you know, bikes generally are, aren't they, eh? There isn't a bike out there that does everything 100%. Some are better than others. And this little bike suits my needs perfectly. It really does, and that's why, and from all the comments that I get, it suits a lot of people's needs perfectly. But I suspect that the majority of these people who love this little bike are probably of a certain age. Is that fair? You know, we're undoubtedly, lots of us are actually very experienced motorcyclists, and we're probably at the back end of our motorcycling career, and we still want to be involved with bikes, but we see that we don't necessarily need 170 brake horsepower. You know, we just don't need it anymore, do we? And we recognise the value in a little bike that sort of maintains our relationship with a motorcycle in a sort of gentle way. Oh, let's go past him. There you are. What do you mean not enough power? We're going uphill and I've just overtook a tractor. Dull as dishwater, you're joking. It's like a rocket ship, this is. Yeah, a rocket ship. Well, there you go. But anyway, it got me to thinking, and I thought, you know, I'm not going to diss his opinion of these little bikes. He got a Meteor, by the way, a Meteor 350, and his opinion is absolutely just as valid as mine. It's just as valid as yours. It's a broad church, is it not? And what suits one person won't suit another. And a bike that suits you now might not suit you down the line in the future, you know? So, there you go, dull as dishwater, can't wait to sell it. Little Meteor 350. So, what do you think of that? Comments below. Now, you know, I just called in to my local Honda dealer. Nice chaps, very nice, because I thought, I did a little bit of digging around the Honda GB350, and you know, it's obviously a direct rival to our Bullets and our classics, and you know, they've obviously seen enough of Royal Enfield creaming off this market, and they've decided that they're going to have their share. The big H, Honda, the largest motorcycle manufacturer, and they're a little bit late to the party, aren't they? A little bit late to the party, so they've missed a trick here. But what it seems to me they've done is they've taken a classic or a Bullet, and in true Honda style, they've upped it on almost every level. I was looking at the specs, and I don't have the specs to hand. What my plan was to borrow one and go for a ride and get all the specs and do a first ride review, if you like. And I walked in and I thought, brilliant, they've got one, it's over there. And as I walked across, it said, please do not sit on this bike, it's sold. But it did say demonstrator on the front mudguard, so unfortunately it looks like I've missed the boat on it. It was a demonstrator, and now it's been sold and they haven't got any others. And I said, I walked across to the chap and I said, I think I know the answer to this. I wanted a ride on your GB350. He said, yeah, it's sold, mate, and we can't, you know. I said, oh, I'll get that, yeah, you can't let me out on it now. I said, what? And he said, and we can't get them. We can't get them for love nor money. We've had dealers ringing us up saying, have you got any spare, can we buy some of your stock? But we've sold all our stock and we won't be getting them until maybe, we've been told, January, February. Now I know that can be you know, these things are coming from Japan in this case, or India in the Royal Enfield case, and that of course can happen. But just looking at it, I'd love to have a little ride on it and report back, and I will do. So he's put me on his list, and I said, well, can I, will he have a demonstrator? He said, yeah, we'll have another demonstrator then. He said, I'll put you on the list and you can have a ride. And I said, well, what I'm going to do is, you know, I've got this little YouTube channel and I want to vlog it. And he said, yeah, that's absolutely fine. You can borrow it for a couple of hours and see how you get on. So that's good, but that won't be for the foreseeable future. But, well, for the near future, shall we say. Come round, won't it, January? Won't be long. But as I said, I rudely interrupted myself, like I do, my train of thoughts, like a butterfly. But when I looked at the specs, it seemed to me, the first one is the price. Unless I'm mistaken, the price that I was looking at was $3,999. Now, so they've undercut the classic 350s. They've undercut the bullets. They're undercutting them, aren't they? $3,999. I thought, okay. And then it's had lots of little things going on. It's a bit lighter. It seemed to me to be, on the spec sheet at least, it was a bit better in pretty much every department. A bit better, if you understand what I'm saying. Excuse me. The tyres are Metzelers right out the can. I think it was, from memory, it was a 19-inch front and a 17-inch rear, but shod with tubeless Metzelers on alloy wheels. The bike was a bit lighter, as I said. The fuel tank was a litre bigger. And it's not much, but it's just a bit bigger, tiny bit bigger. The lights were LED lights, as opposed to standard bulbs on these. The demonstrator that I was looking at, and I'll put a few pictures up while I'm talking about this. The demonstrator that I was looking at had engine bars fitted and spotlights. Now I don't know if that's an addition or if that's standard. I don't know. I just don't know, because I never really got round to discussing it too much. But it just seemed to me that it's a bit lighter. Oh, the engine a bit more powerful. I'm sorry I haven't got the figures to hand. It's just, you know, me mumbling away. But when I was looking at the specs are readily available on the interweb, aren't they, if anybody wanted to have a look. And in January, as I said, if I do manage to get a ride on his demo, I will report back and I'll have the information to hand. But everything, it seemed to me that they bought a bullet and they said, right, make it a bit lighter, make it a bit more powerful, make it a bit, you know, a bit blingier, and just beat them at their own game. It seems that that's pretty obvious what they've done. And they have done it. Oh, here's another thing. Warranty. Honda warranty. 6 years. 6 years. What do Enfield offer? What do we get on these? Is it 2 or 3? Can't remember now. Can't remember. I mean, the only caveat to that was all Honda motorcycles 6 years. You have to have it serviced by Honda. at the dealership. But he said average service about 150 quid, so you're paying 150 quid a year to keep your warranty rolling. 6 years. So we will have a ride on the GB350 when I can get one. I've missed the boat, unfortunately. I was away from YouTube for a little while, and now I'm back. I've missed the boat. But on the plus side, I did go up to the local, my friends at Potter's Motorcycles, the Royal Enfield dealer, and they said, yeah, you can take some of our demos out. They've got a few demos, although even them, they're a little bit short of stock, you know, because, and they said they're having, since Royal Enfield have taken over the distribution, which was last year, they seem to be a bit short of bikes. Certain bikes, they can get some bikes, but they can't get others. So we'll have to see how that pans out. A lot of water today. We've had a little bit of drought recently, but chucking it down yesterday, so some of this water's coming down out of the hills now. Good to see, because we need it, don't we? I do. Hi. Have you been to France this year? On your bike, in your camper van, in your car? And, however, it doesn't really matter. You can't help but to notice the difference, I think, between France and us. I mean, I'm in England, here in the UK. It's sort of, they put us to shame, you know. What are they doing so right and we are getting so wrong? What's up with us? Notwithstanding the fact that on the news just the other day they were rioting in Paris over something or other. So I'm not saying it's they've got the answer to everything, and I know their parliament, Macron and that, you know, it doesn't seem popular in some quarters, but that's the same for ours, Keir Starmer, isn't he, you know. Anyway, I'm sounding a bit political now, and I'm not really meaning to. I'm just saying the differences, right? So, a few differences that we noticed in France. One, cleanliness, civic pride in the villages. Lots. When we went, you know, we were over there for about 6 weeks, 7 weeks in the camper van, tickling around, and I never went on a motorway once. I never went on a péage once. I set my little Google Maps to avoid them, and that wasn't save money, although I did save a few quid. But then again, I probably paid a bit more in diesel and that, you know, tickling around the side roads. But I said, don't take me on any motorways. It took me through all the villages. And what we noticed was a lot of the villages, I don't know how it happens, they just look after them. Having said that, I'm at Ireland now, which is near Dovedale in Derbyshire, and this is a very pretty village. So it's not a good example because I'm showing you you know, we're just around this corner. There's if we can see. I mean, this is quite a pretty little village. You know. But anyway, right, civic pride. You go into lots and lots of villages, and the first thing you notice is there's like traffic calming going into the villages. There's like a bit of a chicane you have to go through. That's all built up, and there's flower beds, and there's little, you know, little monuments and little statues, and but essentially it's designed to slow you down. And I didn't realise that for a little while, but essentially it's traffic calming. But then tree-lined villages, flowers in abundance, and the infrastructure, the traffic signs. You can all the traffic signs are they're not buried in a bush like they are here. The traffic signs are, well, you can see them. I mean, what is a traffic sign for if you can't see it, if it's buried in a bush? And you know, it was put there 40 years ago and it's gone green, and that's here. But over there you can see everything. The road surface, the potholes, lack of. I'm not saying that when you got on some of the little side roads in the middle of nowhere that the roads were you know, like a billiard table. I'm not saying that, but generally speaking, so much better than here. Cleanliness. I mean, I guess the weather helps a bit. The weather generally is better than here, isn't it? So that probably helps, although there's only probably a few degrees in it, isn't there? Now this takes you up to Dovedale. I haven't been up here for a while. I think it's National Trust now, so I am a National Trust member, so I could go. But let's have a quick tickle up here and always turn round. So, just how much better it was over there. Now I know I was on holiday, and that can play with your mind, can't it? But I'm always on holiday now. I don't go work, I can do what I want. Which is where tickling around on my bullet and talking on YouTube comes in a little bit, gives me something to do. I enjoy doing it. I'm not sure I'm very good at it, but I enjoy doing it. Oh yeah, this is the car park, I remember. I remember this from years ago. Oh, the other thing was, in France, what I noticed, and I didn't mind it at all, I really, genuinely, honestly love it, is the police presence. There is a noticeable, genuine police presence. Whether that be from, I mean, there's the gendarmerie, isn't there? Oh, I don't know where he's going. I'll go down here. I'm going to get my bike filthy now. But you've got the gendarmes, and you've got, is it like police nationale or something? Are they local police? But I won't say they're everywhere, but they're everywhere. Here, you've got jobs here, policemen. There's so much petty, everybody gets away with everything here, whereas over there, I'll give you an example. We, I just said I never went on a péage. I did once, ever so strange. And I sort of got caught out by a distance, by my sat-nav and my own stupidity. And I found myself on a péage, and it was only like 2 miles long, and then I was off it. But as I went through the barrier on the other end, there was, now I don't know if these would be gendarmes or the other police, but they pulled me up and breathalyzed me. Yeah, pulled me up and breathalyzed me. And they said, yeah, that's fine, thank you, off you go, where you going? They were as friendly as anything, there was 3 of them, and they were pulling everybody up. It's quite funny really, because with me being in a right-hand drive vehicle, the lady policeman, the lady police person, the lady, yeah, you know what I mean, she went to the wrong side, thinking that I was in a left-hand drive vehicle, and when the window went down, she realised her mistake, sort of smiled and come round to my side, and essentially it was blowing the bag, yeah, you're fine, off you go, which was, I won't say it was lucky, because I'm not, it wasn't really lucky. But I do know that the penalties in France are far more severe than our penalties, and they're instant, they're on the spot sort of thing, you know, withdrawing licenses. If you are really over, it's like a jail job, and you lose your vehicle. They don't mess about. But there was a couple of incidents while we were over there that we witnessed firsthand, where police were involved in what was relatively minor stuff. I mean, one of them was just kids jumping off a bridge into a river on a boiling hot day. But we even thought they were climbing up this bridge, and we said, that's dangerous, that is. If they slip with wet feet, they go and hurt themselves. You know, there's a catastrophe waiting to happen. And before you know it, police again popped up, and as they approached the bridge, they put the sirens on, and they walked across the bridge and they marched these kids. And when I say the kids, they were big kids. They were, you know, they were out of school. But it was a bit stupid what they were doing. But the police, now, I couldn't see that happening here because our police are so stretched that they haven't got the time to deal with the minor stuff. And the problem is if you, in my view, it's always been that if you don't deal with the minor stuff, the major stuff gets worse somehow. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? It's like, I think we should have far more bobbies on the beat, and in France they have them and they deal with this minor stuff. Now I don't know what the crime rates are in France, I haven't got a clue, but they might be just as bad as here. But it's just when you go across there as a tourist, and then when you come back, well, when you come back, it's just stuff like mowing the grass, keeping places clean and tidy, emptying bins, that sort of stuff. You know, you come back at Dover and you start to drive home and there's litter blowing everywhere and these roundabouts that are completely overgrown and you know, bins that are overflowing, and you don't see any of this over there. Anyway, I don't know if you've been to France recently, but I would highly recommend it. What a great place. I'm a bit of a Francophile. I'm turning into one anyway. They're close neighbours to us. It isn't far, it's easy to get there. It's just different enough for me to you know, it's abroad, but it's like not abroad, if that makes sense. Right, here, let's have a look up here. What's up here? Oh, single track road and gates. Oh. Let's have a go up here then, eh? We'll just have a little tickle up here. So there you are, let me know what you think. France, is it better than here? Or am I seeing it with my holiday glasses on? Okay, so look, I'm going to love you and leave you now. I'll pop this on, let me know what bike you think I should ride. And I'll see if I can get one. I'd like a good event tomorrow's another gate up here. So, I'm going to wish you well. Thanks for liking, commenting and subscribing and all that stuff. And look after yourselves. Get out while there's a last bit of vestiges of summer still available to us. Watch out for the potholes and the lunatic drivers. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.